Tēnā koutou katoa. No ingarangi, ko te rana me ahi te reiria o ku tipuna. I whānau mai o I poi hākena. Ko Beraura te awa. Ko Clarissa Hirst o. No reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. No mai, haere mai, welcome to our International Women's Day breakfast this morning. I'm aware there was a crash on the motorway this morning, so I was a little bit nervous at how many people would actually be able to make it this morning, but it looks like we've got a full room, which is amazing to see. So thank you so much to everyone that woke up really early this morning and dragged yourselves out of bed, slept through alarms and got yourself here. We really appreciate it, and we're really excited to connect with you all and for you all to be here to listen to the stories that will be shared this morning. Now, as a non-profit organisation, we are always reliant on our community and generous sponsors to support us in delivering events like these. So I just want to extend a huge thank you to the team at Swiss Re for sponsoring this event. We really, really appreciate it. So a big thank you. And also to Women in Super New Zealand for your ongoing collaboration and support of all of our DEI initiatives, particularly our It Starts With Action campaign. For those of you I haven't met before, my name is Clarissa, and I head up our content marketing and communications at the Financial Services Council, and I'll be your host for this morning. Today is really about celebrating the achievements of some pretty extraordinary women. However, it's also about acknowledging what more needs to be done to progress financial outcomes for women as an industry, and look ahead to what actions we can all take on a personal and professional level to create meaningful change. Before we get into the agenda today, I'd like to introduce you to a member of the FSC's Diversity and Inclusion Committee and an all-round pretty awesome human, Bryan Fox. Bryan is Kaiārahi Cultural Lead at Suncorp New Zealand, and he'll be delivering an opening karakia for us this morning and then sharing some opening remarks around the importance of allyship. Following Bryan, we will hear from Tracey, Chair of Women in Super and Co-Chair of our Diversity and Inclusion Committee, before we go into an address from the Honourable Jan Tinetti, Minister for Women. But for now, over to Bryan.
He honore he karore ki tātua, he maungarongo ki te whenua, he whakarapai ki ngā tangata katoa. Tihei Māori ora. Ko hukurangi te maunga, ko Waiputawa, ko Harauta te waka, ko Ngāti Porou te iwi, ko Tūwhaki ora ta hapu, ko Hine Rupe te marae, no Whareke Hika ahau, no Upuka Tika Māui ahau, no Wainui Mātau ahau, enari no hoi ki Tamaki Makaurau, ko Bryan Fox tōku ingoa. Ko te mihi tuatahi ki te atua, ko ia te timatanga me te whakamutunga o ngā mea katoa, ka mihi ahau ki te kingi Māori, a kingi tūheitia po tātou, te wherowhero, te tuawhetu, me te whare kāhui ariki. Rire, hau paima rire, me mihi atu ki a rātou mā, te hunga kua whetu rangatia, no reira ina mā te haere koutou, haere koutou, haere koutou. Kia tātou i te kunohi ora, kua hui mai nei i tēnei wā, Māori ora kia tātou katoa. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, e nā hau e whā, kua tai mai nei tēnei wāhi, ki te whakawhanaunga i te kaupapa o te rā, a kānui te mihi ki a koutou mō tau manawa nui, ki te tautoko o International Women's Day, e pāna ki tēnei hui. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Kia ora, my name is Bryan. I'm glad there's a timer because I can keep talking forever, but when you were talking about the traffic today, all I was thinking about was Harry Styles last night, and oh man, I got stuck there for ages. So try and stay away from Mount Smart after one of those things. want to take the opportunity to share a story with you, and it's a story about my mum, and it might give you some context around why allyship is really important. Identifying, I guess, significant milestones in people's lives that make a difference in terms of their financial security. I want to preface this by just saying that I love my mother, and I have no judgment on her calls in life, but it'll give you some context around. I don't think this story is unique. I think it's kind of, I've heard it lots before, but it might ring true for some. My mum passed away at the beginning of this year. She was 68 years old. And as part of that process, I took over her financial stuff. And it was a real surprise to me to see how far in debt she was. She'd been working 2 jobs for at least 10 years. And we thought she kind of enjoyed working, but in reality, it was probably to try and get rid of some of that debt. So she had this debt. And I guess that's no way that you want to have your mum end her life, as being heavily in debt. She probably had another 10 years of working to probably get that down to a reasonable amount. So lots of lessons in there, lessons about trying to engage a little bit earlier, mediate some discussions around finances, but also, just having those open conversations. And that's a sad story, but the context around her life is really important. So first 9 years of my life, Mum was at home. Mum wasn't working. She made sure there was food, all that kind of stuff on the table. And that's not a unique story. But her entry back into the workforce was really important as well. But when she did come back into the workforce, she ultimately she had to start from the beginning again. So she was a junior for a while, and she was probably in her mid-30s, working with early 20-year-olds, early 20s people. So her confidence was pretty low. Flash forward 5 years' time, my parents break up. So that brings another level of financial insecurity. Flash forward another 5 years' time, or another 10 years' time, Mum decides to buy a house, and she didn't really have savings or anything, but somehow she was able to buy a house. Then flash forward another 5 years, she's working 2 jobs to make sure that she's paying the bills. Again, a story that's not unique, and a story that kind of resonates with me because, well, obviously Mum, but I don't think this is a problem that's just for my parents or for my mum. I think it's a problem for most women. Re-entering the job market after, going through life, right? Re-entering the job market after children, having relationships dissolve. So in terms of like my connection to being an ally in this space, I think it's really important to make sure that we can view it, we can see it, we can advocate for equality, because what we don't want to have is our daughters, our wives, our significant people in our lives having the same sort of stuff happen to them. So I thought I'd share that story just to give some context around why it's important to me to be an ally. Before I close, I'm just going to do a opening karakia. And this karakia is really just about to give you an opportunity to absorb the day, make sure that we do focus as much as we can in this time while we're together. So, kia anō tātou, please bow your heads. Whakataka te hau ki te uru, whakataka te hau ki te tonga, kia mā kina kina ki uta, kia mā taratara ki tai, e hiaki ana te atukura, He tio, he huka, he hohu, tihe mauri ora. So cease the winds from the west, cease the winds from the south. Let the breeze blow over the land, let the breeze blow over the sea. Let the cool, this is testing my memory. Damn you, Harry Styles. Let the red tip dawn touch with a touch of frost and the promise of a glorious day. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. I'm just going to introduce Tracey, who's going to give us a rundown of the day. So kia ora koutou, have a great day.
Well, kia ora and good morning, everyone. Just a very warm welcome from the FSC D&I Committee and Women's Super. As Hirst said, it's great to have such a room full of wonderful people, and we're really thrilled that it's another sell-out event, so we really do appreciate your support. What a powerful start to the morning, Bryan. Thank you very much for that opening karakia and for sharing your heartfelt story with regard to your mother. I know that I absolutely felt that, and I know we've got all of our own stories. As you'll see, Bryan is one of our very much appreciated male allies and an active member of our D&I committee, and it's a real privilege to share the stage with you this morning, Bryan. We look forward to welcoming more male allies into the fold as we continue our diversity journey. So watch this space. So when we started talking about what we were going to do to celebrate International Women's Day some time ago now, we couldn't get past the need to celebrate our women in the industry because we just don't do enough of that. And I know we're going to have a great discussion today as they share with us their stories and their initiatives in respect of how they are looking to improve the financial outcomes of women. These initiatives align and support our own D&I actions that we are going to pursue this year, including in accordance with the FSC declaration that came out of the It Starts With Action campaign last year, maintaining the momentum from the campaign and leading the change in women's financial wellbeing, developing a policy platform to enhance retirement outcomes for Wahine, and exploring how we can lead gender and ethnic pay gap reporting in the industry, and I know we're going to hear a lot about that further from Nina, as some of the highlights. So we've got a lot on our agenda, as I'm sure will be no surprise to you, and we're in the process of finalising and prioritising that because we do appreciate we can't do everything. So watch this space for more detail and just rest because the 2023 call for action is coming. Enjoy the speakers we have for you today, but as you do, I'd really ask you to think about how you can take such inspiration and initiatives back into your organisation in either starting the conversation or progressing the conversation. Sometimes we get really enthusiastic and our organisations get enthusiastic in pursuing a cause and then it just dies off. And I think we've had an interesting start to the year with a lot of other distractions. I think we need to sort of just pick things up and get moving for the year. I think, together we can make impactful change, and that's why we are all here in this room.